The draft hat's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody, welcome in, everybody. We were talking about the draft hats. Did you like the draft hats? Let us know in chat below. But welcome to Pigskin Perspective, a show on the Fanboys Unleashed Media Network. We are about to get started. And guess what we're talking about? What every other person with a sports podcast is talking about, the NFL schedule. Let's jump into it together, shall we? As soon as I click on this fancy intro. We are here, and it is always a wonderful time to be with Brandon Knowles. How are you today, sir?
Good. And how are you, Sam?
Oh,
Appreciate
yeah, you and I are both sore and tired. We got our husband cards
it.
today.
We did.
You outside
Absolutely.
doing some mulching and some groundskeeping, and I was putting together a couch for my IKEA. So there you go, for whatever that's worth. But us in the middle of this NFL dead period got ourselves a little treat. We got the NFL schedule released. We saw some funny videos of the schedules being released. The Titans usually do a good job and did once again. You can't go wrong walking down Broadway in the middle of the day finding strange people to talk to. So good for them. Good for them. They always seem to do well. Did you see anybody's that you really like that is not ours? As far as schedule release videos, the Colts and the Simpsons was pretty good too. I'll give them that. If you haven't seen
Uh,
that one.
I actually really like the Chargers. When you bring in
Oh,
Halo,
Halo.
automatically
Yeah.
just shot yourself to the top of the list there. That was awesome.
Every guy our age is just like, when they hear, oh, and you're like, oh, the endless hours I put into that game going after my friends is just yikes, crazy talk. But yeah, no, it was up there. It's pretty good. It even took a shot at Bo Nix, which I thought was really interesting. I was like, boy, oh boy, getting feisty already. But hey, that's what the offseason is all about. So we're going to dive into the schedule. And if you're a fan of another team other than the Titans, feel free to talk about it. We're here to talk about all NFL stuff, including the schedules of all the other teams. How do you feel about your schedule? Let us know in the comments. So we'll go ahead and pop up here, and I'll just read through the schedule real quick. Your call is very important to us. Let's see. We have our preseason games. How exciting. Titans at 49ers August 15th. Seahawks at Titans August 23rd at 7 p.m. And Bears at Titans August 29th. So there's your little preseason games. There's no reason really to talk about it. I would be very curious, though, if you think Saleh, let's say starters play, play in any of those games, or you think he keeps them down?
I'm kind of curious just because his whole approach this time with the rookies and being so worried about injuries, which I don't know. I mean, based off of that, are you going to do the same thing with the starters? It'd be nice to get them some football, especially some that have been injured or just need to get a few reps in.
Right. No, I agree. I'd be curious what he took, and I would be curious as that as well, because if he is already nervous about them doing some running around and catching passes, how is he going to feel when it's actually kind of a game like atmosphere for the most part?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does he still scared of it then? I would like to think they would play a lot in the third game or something along that, but we shall see what Mr. Saleh thinks. I personally hope they play. I would like to see them play. I think that's important. It's a whole new system. Let's get them out there and get it working, But what do I know? All right, September 13th, and you're going to see a recurring theme here. It's going to start at 12 p.m. Central Time here, about 15 of these. So Jets come for game one against the Titans. And then September 20th, Eagles come to the Titans. Titans go to the Giants September 27th. Titans go to Baltimore October 4th. Texans go to Titans October 11th. Titans go to Colts October 18th. Browns come to Nashville October 25th. Titans go to Cincinnati November 1st. Jaguars come to Nashville November 15th. Titans go to Dallas November 22nd. Titans go to the Jaguars November 29th. That's a 3:05 game. One of the few things that are a little different. Yeah. Commanders come to the Titans December 6th. Titans go to Detroit, going up to Detroit again. That's interesting. December 13th. Colts come to Nashville December 20th. Titans go to Las Vegas once again December 27th, 3:05. And then we have the last home game at Nissan Stadium. Steelers come to town. And then we finish the season in Houston January 10th. That time to be determined. So thank you for the Tighten Up, Two-Tone Productions. We hope you are doing well, sir. So there's the schedule. Do you have a first thought about the schedule? I put mine pretty out there on TikTok that I was happy with said schedule. I haven't been happy with our schedule for 3 years.
Right.
So I was happy with the schedule. Do you have thoughts on the schedule as a whole?
This time I think it's actually pretty balanced for a change. I mean, I'd say I don't think the Jets are going to be as tough as people think. I mean, come on, Geno Smith.
Yeah.
He's already ran his story. He's coming back. But I think weeks 2 through weeks 5 may be a little bit of a challenge just because we're getting off our footing with all these new changes. But at the same time, I could see us shocking some people in those games. So I don't think that we're going to be as bad as people are probably expecting us to be. We made a lot of turnaround, and especially the national market not seeing that. They just look at it as, oh, we just spent in free agency. But I think Borgo knew what he was doing here. It's a lot different than what Rand did, so I appreciate it. I think it's pretty balanced, and I like our buy being right in the middle. It's always better to have a later buy, but the fact that it's in the middle and not early, that's a huge thing for us, especially with our history of injuries with our star players. So
I'll take it. No, 100%. The middle of the year, the middle of the season, absolutely. I'm in. No qualms about that whatsoever. So, what is your favorite matchup do you see on this schedule?
So there's actually 3 games I'm looking forward to, but of them, I'm gonna say, and I'm really hoping that this is gonna end up playing into fruition is the Raiders game.
Ooh.
See Mendoza versus Cam and have that headline talked about. And I don't want to see Cousins versus Cam. So if that ends up not happening, then I think it'll be fun to hopefully face the Texans at home for that final game in the old stadium and get a W.
Oh yeah. No, that'd be great. Yeah.
Oh, throwback jerseys or anything that's like the alternate jerseys or anything like that. I don't know if they're doing that.
No, I don't know what they're doing. How they view it's kind of crazy. We now have 2 throwback jerseys in the docket. Technically 3. Technically, it's Houston, the Oilers, and the original Titans, and then we had the new age ones with the Sworders, as I like to say, the Sworders. So yeah, I am a fan of the good home games coming through. I think that's going to be terrific. You're sending off the stadium on a good note, and it's going to be a shame. It's going to be an emotional year for a lot of us. We've talked about it, the other fan groups and I, about like how emotional we're going to be on that last game or whatnot. So it's going to be interesting, and I just hope we get have some fun this year, and it's not all doom and gloom. And we can get some W's. That would just feel absolutely spectacular. What did you dislike? What's on there that you dislike? Because nobody ever gets an A plus plus in the NFL schedule.
No. I would probably have to say the game that I'm really not really all that OMG about is the Lions game. I just kind of think it's like kind of thrown in there, and like there's nothing about it that just excites me that makes me think, okay, well, this is anything that I'm like looking for a matchup for Cam. I just think that the Lions aren't what they used to be, especially when that whole coach regime switched and went elsewhere for head coach jobs. It's really
Right.
kind of changed them. They're not a bad team, but they're not anywhere near what they were, and I don't know if they'll get back there.
Yeah, that when they dropped all those coaches, whatever, it seemed to give them a lot of trouble. I think it would be an interesting measuring stick. I mean, they embarrassed you last time you went up there. If you can, try to get some revenge there and accomplish it, I think it might make a name for yourself. But I'm with you. There's nothing really super exciting. Plus, you've already played them. You could have put somebody else there, like the Vikings or something like that. Why?
Hmm.
Why did it have to be, you know, Detroit? You know, beats me. My dislike, this is gonna be interesting. My dislike is the Jets. Why do we have to be
Yeah.
emotional game one? Why we got like now we got people going, oh great, a must-win game in week one. This is
Yep.
exactly
Yep.
what I want. Because now you're gonna have Jarvis Brownlee talking about gorillas in a green field, and we got Sweat, who's definitely probably not going to overeat as much to try to take us on. And and of course we have the Salah.
Hmm.
This is the team that let him go. Many people believe they shouldn't have let him go, but he did. So he's going to want to get his too. So, but I'm not wild about having um, a feisty game at week one. I'd rather
Oh
have
yeah.
just a nice simple, you know, uh, uh, game that I could disappear into. Why couldn't we play the Cardinals or something? Something like that. But
Well, and with the
no,
Jets game too, if you look at it too, it's going to be a Tate versus Bailey who's going to
no,
outperform their
that's
first game.
right. I didn't think about that. You're
Yep.
right. It is going to be Tate versus Bailey. Oh man, yeah. There's so many
Right out the
layers to
gate.
this onion right out the gate, man. And the Jets need it bad. We need it bad, but the Jets need it worse.
Right.
So, excuse me, as the allergies have decided to kick up here in Tennessee.
All I
That's what
can
happened.
ask is Cam, don't give him that interception.
Yeah, don't
Let
don't
him
give
keep
them
that losing
anything.
streak.
Oh, that would be fantastic. So yeah, no Jets game for me. So feisty out the gate. Okay, we look through the cat, and we all know what every NFL person says. We get it. We get it. Every game, you want to win every game. Okay, but which ones, Brandon? Which ones are the must win? I gotta have it. Games you see on there. I'll go ahead and take one off. You got to beat Houston once. You
Hmm.
have to.
Yep.
I don't. You have to split with them or sweep them. There's one or the other. So
Hmm.
I'll take that one off the table. What other must wins do you see there?
Well, you already talked about one. Everybody's going to talk about the Jets. You
Yes.
got to take that game.
Hmm.
And then after that, you got to continue on. And I think the ideal would be every division game we have to win at least one. We can't be
Oh,
losing
splits
out
down
like
the
we did
middle.
last year. It was
Yeah,
awful. Um,
it was.
so we need to find our way to get back there. And then I think one of the big tests would be if we can find a way to actually beat the Ravens or the Eagles. I think people would be like, wait a second. Like, is this team
Hmm.
really making this turn? Are the wheels just going to click right now? Especially, it's going to be interesting against the Ravens because everybody was like, we should have got Harbaugh, wish we had Harbaugh. And then all of a sudden we got Saleh, but everybody was watching these coaching hires and they were like, wait, I don't like these. And then all of a sudden Saleh's bringing in these top guys and everybody's like, okay, I like this.
Right.
So did we dodge a bullet? So we'll really see in that game how things play out if it's just Harbaugh's that good of a coach or we got the better overall coaches.
Yeah. I agree. I'm gonna add the excuse me, the Giants game. I think Titans brass will want that Giants game
Hmm.
because of you have so many storylines there. You have Dart and you have
Hmm.
Cam drafted in the same year. Excuse me. You have Dart and Cam drafted in the same year. You have the coach that left you high and dry when you were ready to get on your plane and go meet him at his house. You know, all those things. So I would imagine Borgo would rather smoke a victory cigar after that game. So I'll add the Giants set list, but I'm in agreement. You need to split with the division. down here. I don't think you have to do anything super crazy. Sweep them if you can. If you can't, at least get one of them, especially Houston. Especially Houston. Okay. Which games do you think here are going to be the biggest for Ward? Obviously, the Browns game is going to be spicy, to say the least, especially if Sanders is playing, who we don't know.
Any
We don't
game
know.
pretty much going to be the QB topics because everybody's going to talk about is Sanders going to get the start or is it going to be Watson? And if he's starting against us, Watson, that is, then that game's going to be less of a desire for people because they want to see Sanders versus Cam again.
Right.
And it's the same with Dart. And who's better? That's why all of a sudden we get to the Mendozas. We're looking at what's the spicy young QB versus another QB who's better, who's going to outperform, who's going to outplay. And sometimes it's just simply who's got the higher IQ plays. It may not be as flashy that win the game. That's what matters. So,
right. No, yeah. I get all the games are important, but which ones are like, just make your gut get a little warm just thinking about it. I think it's got to be as far as like Cam performance, it's got to be probably Giants and Browns are really going to have to be. I've really got to outduel the other quarterback to show that I'm the top dog kind of thing. So
especially because last year everybody talked about how Sanders just threw all over us, but they got to remember we were an awful defense and we had nobody at corner.
Nobody.
So anybody could have done that. So
I agree. It's going to be interesting because it might end up one of these things where they're like, hey, they're benching Watson. They're putting in Sanders for Nashville next week. And we're going to be like, oh, boy, here we flip and go. Here we go, everybody. So how do you feel about the Steelers closing out the stadium as the last home game of the season?
See, I was thinking almost is that going to be one of my least favorite games? Because it's just kind of like, why them?
Yeah, it should be the Bengals. The Bengals started it at Adelphia Coliseum. I kind of feel like Bengals should be the one to end it there. That's what I thought was going to happen. But I was kind of stunned that they went Steelers there, the old AFC Central rival. I thought Bengals all the way. I thought Texans maybe. But they decided to go Steelers for some reason. And
even if they changed it and imagine if the Ravens were the final home game.
Oh my gosh.
There's bad blood there, but that would be a spicy ending for a game in that stadium.
Right, especially if you do well this year and it gets very, very tight and it becomes hey, you win this game, you're in. Then things get, even more crazy. So yeah, I was too wild of the Steelers being the last opponent there. Jaguars, Texans, Colts, or Bengals would have been my vote. Ravens too. I'll throw the Ravens up there. Okay. One of your topics that you brought up that I was intrigued by, the rookies with the most impact here. Do you think, excuse me, sorry, keeper cut what? Which player? Who are we talking about? Which one? I'd be curious to see. I'm trying to get this question. What rookie do you think Tate is going to have the bigger impact, or do you think it's going to be another rookie that they have drafted during the 2026 draft?
I think it's not going to be Tate, and I don't think it's going to be Folk either. I think it's going to be Hill.
I agree with you.
I think he's going to be like that Swift Army knife. They're going to use him all over the place, and Salah's going to have so much fun with him, especially because he's such a dog for the football. Like, he just wants to play, and he wants to learn. He has a high IQ, and he did wear the dot when he was in college, so it's not he's not smart enough to command a defense. So I know there's a lot of knocks on him sometimes, but I think there's a lot of growth there, and there's kind of like the potential to have that high ceiling come out. But if the floor comes out from under him, then that's going to stink. But I think he has a lot of potential to do something.
I agree. I'm going to be intrigued by him because they're already kind of saying that they are going to like he could wear the green dot, I think is what Zeiler said. Is it Zittler or Zeitler, the assistant GM whose name I can't say. He said he could go ahead and wear the green dot, which is pretty crazy. A.O. Manor's my most slept on receiver this year. Bet he ball out this year. Says two-tone productions. He just can't drop the ball. The drops from him were just killer. An absolute dot right down the field, and he would just drop it. And we're talking about walk-in touchdowns and whatnot he was dropping. So, like, it was a very frustrating year to watch Cam just make this amazing throw and then it just not be caught. It's just unacceptable to me. It drove me absolutely bonkers. So A.O. Manor can be that guy. He has the size. He has the speed. He's just got to catch the ball. If he catches
some of
the
his
ball,
routes, he could have got a little bit more crisp, and I think that would have helped some of that too. But like he had so much potential. He had a few games where it was like, oh, okay, we're starting to stick it together, and then he fell off. I'm like, man.
Yeah, I know. It's like
and
if he can just
that's where Chim came in.
Yeah. And Chim is not really one that you want out there on offense. You want to save those legs for kick returns and everything like that. So, and look, it would be great if A.O. Manor like really steps it up this year. If he steps it up this year, your wide receiver room, which got better, looks great if he steps up this year.
Well, let's throw this in there. Think about this. When's the last time that we could look at our wide receiver room and be like, wow, this room's a little crowded?
I don't remember ever doing that. To be honest with you, maybe back when Drew Bennett was involved, but I can't think of off the top of my head.
Right.
But yeah, A.O. Manor has a chance here. If he could really step it up, then we are in great shape. Great shape, wide receiver wise. He could take the sting out when you let go of Ridley at the end of the year too. So just something to think about.
Yep, and we'll see if they get more opportunities. It's really going to depend on what is Ridley going to be when he returns and what's going to give them the opportunities. They need to seize it the moment and take it, because if they don't, then they're going to lose out. So,
oh yeah, no. 100%.
Last thing we need is another. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. He went to the Dolphins.
Oh, you're talking about the trusty Honda, right? Nick Westbrook Akine.
We don't need another one.
Bane of my existence, Nick Westbrook Akine. Why do you hate him, Sam? Because you could have drafted someone better. You could have drafted someone better in the 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. And they just wouldn't do it. And he would just stick around. And then there was that random year where he caught a touchdown every game from Will Levis. And I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
This is him, Mason Kinsey. I don't understand the following. It drives me bonkers. It drives me mad, I tell you. But yeah, that's pretty much the sum it up here. Oh, the Thanksgiving games. We got to talk about this Thanksgiving slated games. I hope you didn't want to spend time with your family, Brandon. I mean, let's keep going.
This is great.
They're gonna put food on your table and everything for Thanksgiving, and you're gonna grab your plate and say, "Thanks, me ma, for the coleslaw and the yams and the cranberry sauce and the turkey and the ham. Thank you for all of that and the cornbread." But I'm gonna go have a seat here. So let's see, Thanksgiving slate of games, NFL. So you can go have a seat even on Thanksgiving Eve, Wednesday night. Chicago Bears at Detroit Lions, which is usually pretty spicy between those teams anyway.
Oh yeah.
Considering what happened last year. Yeah. And that's I'm sorry. I messed that up, boss. Wednesday, November 25th, Thanksgiving Eve, Green Bay Packers at Rams.
Yep.
You're getting Jordan Love. You're getting Matthew Stafford. And Lord knows that game is going to be important. Streaming on Netflix, just so everybody knows. And then Thanksgiving Day, Bears at Detroit, Philadelphia at Cowboys, Kansas City at Buffalo. 3 games. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the drama. High drama. And then Black Friday, Las Vegas Raiders at Chiefs, which is meh, but everything else is pretty good. So I would like to go ahead and for all football fans out there, go ahead. I'll clip this for you guys out there. For all of us football fans out there, we're sorry we're not sitting with you for family dinner at Thanksgiving. There's just too much good football. You'll understand one day, I'm sure. So, family does come first, but so does the other F word, which is football. So, we are going to watch some great football this Thanksgiving. Do you like that slate of games? You're about it. I certainly am.
Oh, I'm all about it. That's those. Usually, there's at least one game where you're like, I can skip that game. Like, I'm okay to go do something else. But all these are ones I want to watch.
Right. That Black Friday one might be a little weak, but the Raiders every now and then decide to get a little feisty with their division opponent in the Chiefs. I'll ask you this. This will be a little off topic here or whatnot. How do you think the Chiefs are going to do this year?
I was just going to think about, what are we going to get from Pat Mahomes this year? Is he going to be what he has been, or are we going to start seeing the drop-offs coming here, especially with his trusty Mr. Kelsey, who is definitely not who he is anymore. Right. He used to be a bona fide, just amazing tight end. He was he was the Gronk that that team had, but not no more. So we'll really see how this transpires. But I don't know if the Chiefs are going to be what they used to be, and I'm really curious to see if the Bills finally have done enough to just say we're taking over the Chiefs, and we're going to do it with full pedal to the metal.
Right. Unlike us sitting at the table for Thanksgiving because we'll be on the couch watching football, the table has been laid for Josh Allen. Josh Allen and the Bills. The table is there. They just need to have a seat and get it done. And what I think is going to happen is we are going to see Andy Reid because they get Kenneth Walker the fourth. And we're going to see Andy Reid probably for the first time ever cultivate a run game there because Pat's not going to be 100% coming out of the gate. And first of all, you got the Super Bowl MVP in the backfield, and I don't think he's just joining up to take a 5-yard gain or 3-yard passes from Patrick Mahomes. I think they're going to try to pound the rock until Pat's knee feels like it can go. And that's what I think. It's going to be really interesting because I've never seen Andy Reid, a true West Coast guy, see if he can get a run game going. I'd be very curious if if you and I are 5 weeks into the season, we look at the leading rushers. If a Chiefs don't have a running back in the top 5, I think it would be really interesting. But I just don't think you go after Kenneth Walker the fourth to just be like, yeah, just catch my dink passes. It'll be fine.
Right.
No, I think they're going to try to pound the rock. I really do.
I agree.
So it's going to be interesting. Absolutely. Okay. I'm going down our schedule. Okay. I don't want to cheat anybody. I don't want to cheat anybody of anything here. So, okay, we are ready. It is time for Hates We Take. And eventually I'm going to have a little screen that I click on. There's probably going to be some punk bed going, Hates We Take, or something along those lines. So, Mr. Knowles, what is a take that you hate?
Well, this was just, I think it was either the other week or a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It was Mr. Neighbors from the Giants speaking as if that the Titans reached to get Tate due to the fact that he was not the number 1 wide receiver. I hate it. Absolutely not. Because if that's the case, think of how many players were taken that weren't the primary dude for that team, and then they come and ball out. Just because somebody is really good in front of them doesn't mean that talent is not top-notch enough to be where they were. He still made just as much of an impact. That's why they talked about that duo being the best duo in college football. So between Jeremiah Smith and Tate. So I think that's an awful take. I absolutely hate it. And for somebody who wasn't always the number 1 and then just became the number 1 and then got drafted, I don't think he has much to stand on there. So
yeah, no, I concur. This always seems to happen where we have these guys that just kind of one pontificate all these things. And well, I don't know what this thing is doing. Stop it. Anyway, computer problems. Anyway, it always seems like we have to have some sort of wide receiver on wide receiver violence, and I don't understand why, but if he wants to do that, that's fine. If I'm Tate, I'm putting that quote up in my locker room, and I'm just going to work. That's what I'm doing. And then now that Giants game is going to get even more hot. So that's how they want to do it. Fine. I tend to stay away from making bulletin board material because I don't wish to get my butt kicked by anybody. So people, sometimes these players, man, I just don't think they can help themselves. It's an aggressive thing. Takes I hate. Not really a take, just a move by whoever in the Titans front office decided to put Ramon Foster as the replacement for Dave McGinnis. This man was never a Tennessee Titan. He was a Tennessee Vol. And I know there are some teams that have guys that have never played for them or whatnot, but okay, well, I still don't have to like it. Look, Ramon Foster does a radio show. He does a fine job in the mornings here on 104.5 The Zone, but I'm not about it. You have Keith Bullock out there. You've got Mark Mariani. You could probably go dig up Kerry Collins if you wanted to, wherever the hell he is. And
what about Taylor Lewan?
What about Taylor Lewan? Right, he said he would have entertained it at least. Like you didn't even try. So to just go Ramon Foster here seems like such a weak move. And I personally want to hear from somebody that was on the team or coached on the team.
Right.
What if you went and got Jeff Fisher, for God's sake? Well, I know he's too busy. I know he's doing the arena football thing, but you know what I mean? Like, why couldn't we grab somebody like that? Adam Lowry still lives here, the old special teams coach. But I think not getting Keith Bullock in the booth there is just a complete and utter failure on everybody's part. I think Keith would have absolutely nailed that job. Absolutely nailed it. So shame on there to make that office. And I hope enough malcontents like me shake their fists violently at the sky and they change it, because that's how lucky we are to get the change. Now, I want to be quite clear here. I think Ramon Foster will do a good job. He's been 11 years in the league as an offensive lineman with the Steelers. But he's a Steelers guy. I think you should have put a Titans guy. Am I too grumpy for that? Is it wrong for me to want somebody from my own team to do the radio?
No, it's a pretty common consensus, and you see it all over the internet too. And then, I think it's fair to feel how everybody does, just because it should be a Titans person, especially filling the shoes of who it was that they're replacing. That's where I think a lot of people are hurt by it a little bit more than the fact that it is just Foster himself. But he will do a good job. I think he's great at what he does. I like his takes. I like how he presents things. But I do think that it would have hit Titans fans much better if it was one of their own.
Yeah. Take your pick. Brad Hopkins still lives here. You could get Brad Hopkins to do it. And Mark Mariani, like I said earlier, I don't see why we couldn't take a swing at these guys. Why don't you try to get Jarrell Casey? Why don't you call him? Why don't you try to call Drew Bennett? Why don't you try to call somebody along those lines? Why don't you try to call Derek Mace? Delaney Walker. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why don't you try to grab something? Delaney would be such a coup. If they got Delaney Walker, I'd be like, I am so going to mute my TV and listen to the radio, unless Kevin Harlan. If Kevin Harlan's doing your game, you do yourself a disservice if you don't listen. Kevin Harlan's the best there is. I'll put him up against anybody. Absolutely anybody. No matter what the sport. It could be Olympic of break dancing. If Kevin Harlan's calling it, I'm gonna listen to it. That's how good he is. That's how good he is. All right. Well, that is our first take of the schedule. I'm sure we'll talk more about the schedule going on, especially if we don't get a lot of stories coming out. Brandon, thanks as always for coming on, bud. I appreciate it.
It is always a pleasure. It is always a pleasure to be with everybody watching and talking some Titans football and all the stuff around the league. I actually thought seeing this, but Wes ended up posting about Femi's going to be coached by Javon Curse at training camp.
Oh, I like that.
Try and give some points there. So we'll see how this goes, especially because, coming into the league, he transitioned his last year of college to 3-4 outside linebacker. And then now he's going to a 3, switching back to edge. So
Right.
change for somebody who's considered raw talent with a lot of potential. And so how much is this going to mess things up, or is it going to help?
I would hope it helps. I like alumni being involved either way. They did a great video where they had Delaney Walker there, and they were talking to all the rookies, all the old vets, all the wily vets were talking to the rookies about what to expect, what adversity you're planning to feel, and stuff like that. So I like that. I hope it works out for Femi. Let's not forget that Derrick Henry became Derrick Henry when he went and talked to Eddie George, and Eddie George is like, do not run away from the secondary. You should kill them and move on with your day. And it changed everything.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I don't
Derrick
think we
Henry
have the
said it
Derrick we
himself.
have today.
Yeah, unless Eddie was like, all right, well, go kill people. Don't just sit there and try to get around them. Just run them over.
Right.
Be done with it.
Changed you're a everything. Tank. Go.
So yeah, exactly. So they don't want to tackle you anyway. They don't. So yeah, that's the show for everybody. Please like and subscribe. We will see you probably not next Saturday. We might try to do a Friday show, Brandon. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I have a party that it's my very late 40th birthday party next Saturday. And I expect a lot of people to be here to watch the beginning of my inevitable demise. As I bend over and it's like, oh, you're in pain now. Sorry about that. Look forward to 40, everybody. For Brendan Knowles, I am Sam Dean, a.k.a. Mr. First Down. You can find him on X at TitansFan93. We're going to be putting a lot more content at you. Brandon's been pumping out some stuff on Facebook. I've been doing my funny little videos that people seem to like. We will catch you next time on Fanboys Unleashed, a.k.a. Pigskin Perspective. See ya. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bam.